First, a note before I begin. This bookcase is my entire manga collection currently. At one point in my life, I owned about twice this many volumes of manga, but have since sold a lot of them. So I have them organized by publisher, and on the very top shelf you'll see I have mostly Hana to Yume comics. And this first entire 49 volumes of manga here is Garasu no Kamen. Oops, that's backwards. Garasu no Kamen by Miki. It is a really cool series that started in the 70s and it is still ongoing. And the author, I hope she lives to finish it because she's getting close. She's almost finished. It has had several anime adaptations and live action dramas and even stage adaptations. And it is about Kitajima Maya. There she is. She's the main character of the series and she's an aspiring actress. And it basically just chronicles all the trials and tribulations that she goes through to become an actress. She's poor. She has a secret fan called the Murasaki no Bara no Hito, which is the purple rose giver. And what she doesn't know is that this man, who is her secret fan that keeps encouraging her, is actually the head of Daito Geino, which is an entertainment company that is opposing Tsukikage Chigusa, which is this lady here, which is her mentor. So it's like, basically, the man who's kind of trying to destroy her mentor is also her secret fan. So it's just that really, really cool secret identity, like, I hate you in real life, but I love you when you're my fan kind of thing, and she doesn't know, and it's just really cool. Her rival is Himekawa Ayumi. I'm trying to find her on a page. I flipped through her at one point, and then I skipped over her. But anyway, her rival Himekawa Ayumi is actually my favorite character in the series, and she is like the daughter of two really famous actresses. She's beautiful and talented, and everyone is like pegging her to be the next big thing. But she secretly hates all the attention because she feels like she's only being recognized for her looks and for her parents and not for her actual talent. And she secretly is very jealous and envious of Maya because she feels that Maya is the true genius. Really good series, and if you haven't looked into it, you should. Next in the Hana to Yume aisle, we have Hanazakari no Kini Tachie, or Hanakini. And it's a series that a fan sent it to me, wanting me to translate it, actually, and I wound up liking it, so I got the entire series. And it's about a girl named Mizuki who not falls in love, but becomes a huge fan of Sano Izumi, who's a high jumper, and he's like really good at it. And she wants to meet him. She's Japanese-American, and she convinces her parents to let her go to his school in Japan. But there's a catch. It's an all-boys school, so she has to pretend to be a boy. And so hijinks ensue of her like trying to hide her identity. It's basically a gakuen mono, which is like a school academy style series. It's kind of cliche and formulaic in that regard, but it's also really funny and pretty well written, and the characters are good. Here is my Margaret comics section, which is currently only 2 manga. I used to have a lot more Margaret comics, but I sold them. This is Ringo Nikki. It's a series that, it's like a cute little slice of life thing, and the first episode came out, it was publicized in Margaret Betsuma magazine my first week that I was living in Japan as an exchange student. So I started reading it in a coffee shop, and I kind of liked it, so I wound up getting the tankobon. And it's just about a very poor working class girl and her single father, and how they move to Osaka, and then she meets a guy and some other people. And it's kind of a love story, but it's cute, she said apologetically. My next shelf down is my Ribbon Mascot comic series, and my first one is no ribbon mascot comic series to be complete without it. Marmalade Boy by Yoshizumi Wataru. It's a really, really good shoujo series. Like, if you're into shoujo and you've never read Marmalade Boy or seen the anime, you have to. It's really good. But it's basically Miki. Her parents get divorced, and Yu's parents get divorced, and their parents remarry each other. So, like, Miki's dad marries Yu's mom, and Yu's dad marries Miki's mom. I hope I got that correct. And they all move in together and become one big happy family, and Miki and Yu start dating, and hijinks ensue because they have to keep their relationship a secret from their parents. The anime was like a little bit sappier and like teen drama-y, and it was really long-winded because they added way more episodes, but the manga's nice and condensed, so I recommend the manga. The anime is also good, but I recommend the manga. And then next we have Hime-chan's Ribbon, which is another classic 90s ribbon mascot series. It's about Hime, this girl on the front cover, and she gets a magic ribbon from a princess from another land, and it helps her turn into anyone that she wants to if she puts on the ribbon and says magic words. And hijinks ensue. It's really, really fun and heartwarming. Good characters as well. Now next in my list is Chibi Maruko-chan. And initially I was turned off from this series because the artwork is like really super minimal. It's not typical shoujo manga. If you look at those characters, they're like very minimalistic and kind of, they look sort of like doodles rather than actual shoujo manga artwork. But it's hilarious. It's a really good slice of life series about a 4th grade Japanese girl in the 70s. And just the commentary, the writing, the way everything is written, it's just really clever, really good. And very relatable also, even to people like me. I grew up in America in the 80s, but I still like share so many experiences with Maruko and her friends, and it's just a really, really cool series. And I wish it got more attention in the States, but it has been more recently. These mangas are kind of out of order because next is Kimi Shika Iranai by Yoshizumi Wataru, the same author of Marmalade Boy. And this series is a little unique for shoujo manga because Dude is the main character. Oh, incidentally, she wanted to make Yu the main character of Marmalade Boy, which is the boy, and Miki the secondary character. But the publishers of Ribbon were like, no, you have to make the girl the main character. So it's kind of cool that she got to let a boy be the main character in this series. So basically, he falls in love with this girl who's, I think, like 15 or 16, and she's actually a divorcee. So it's kind of sappy, but also really cute and kind of funny. And then Mint na Bokura, which is another Yoshizumi Wataru series. It's lighthearted, cute, kind of like Hanakimi, but just kind of sillier because it's about 2 twins. And you can see here, they both look like girls, but one of them, this one, is actually a boy. And so basically he is really upset that his twin sister fell in love with this girl, so he infiltrates her school, which is a dorms-only school, and they only have room for one more girl. So, of course, he has to disguise himself as a girl. And his parents are super eccentric and cool with it, so they're like, sure, go ahead, disguise yourself as a girl. It won't last more than a week anyway, so have fun. But, you know, he winds up staying at the school a really long time. Hijinks ensue. Pretty funny. Next, in Ribbon Mascot Comics, we have Gals, or Gyaruzu. This is a little bit dated by now because this gal look, basically the really dark skin, the flashy dyed hair, the nails, the bright colors, the crazy fashion, like that kind of went out of style in the late 90s. But I was basically in Japan kind of at the end of galdom. If you look at this kind of, oh yeah, and the really super, super high-heeled boots and shoes were also really popular at the time. But it's really cute and really funny. The characters are really nice in here. And I like the manga author a lot, like reading her free talk. She just seems like a really fun, cool person. Yeah, and it's just a fun, funny little series. The anime is also really good. All right, we have a very short here, Time Stranger Kyoko. I got this because it's by the author who wrote Kamikaze Kaito Jan, and I just love her art style. It's so incredibly detailed and really pretty. It's very quintessential shoujo manga style. Like, look at how big their eyes are. It's just ridiculous. Like, that's a boy, and his eyes are so big. Look at this. Wah! Aliens. I really liked the premise of this series and the characters and everything, but it was extremely rushed. It was only like 3 volumes, and I really think it should have been more like 13 volumes. I think she even said so. But it had to be shortened because editors. And here we have Tokimeki Tonight, and it's a series I used to have more volumes of it. I think there's like 30 plus total, and I had at one point 17 volumes, but now sadly I only have like the first 5 because I sold a lot of them because I thought I have too many mangas, I need to sell them. But I really wish that I'd kept this series because it's so charming. It's from the 80s, or it like started in the 80s, and the premise is that the girl Ranze, trying to find her, this is not her, the girl Ranze is a vampire, There she is. And her father is also a vampire. And her brother, Rinze, is a werewolf. And her mom is a werewolf. Oh, and this one, she accidentally got, like, magic cast on her, so she got werewolf ears and a tail. But basically, yeah, they're monsters. And they're from the monster world, but they're living in the human world. And then she falls in love with a human boy, Makabe-shun. And then hijinks ensue. This is a series that somebody gave me, Doni Kashitai. We're into my Kodansha comics area. And it's one of the series I was trying to sell, but couldn't get anyone to buy it. It's okay, but it's not like one of the series that I wanted to reread over and over again. But it's neat because it's Johnny's Entertainment cooperated in helping create this. And the premise is the main character, I forget her name, but she is obsessed with Johnny's Jr. and Johnny's Entertainment in Japan. And she wants her little brother to join Johnny's. And it's about her little brother joining Johnny's. Members of Johnny's Entertainment make a lot of cameos, and it's amusing, it's cute, it's funny, but it's also kind of sad because her little brother kind of doesn't want to join Johnny's, and I just think it's a all too common pattern that we see in the real world with like mothers and people forcing young kids into entertainment and kind of ruining them. It turns out okay though because he likes it. And now we have my Sailor Moon section. I used to own these mangas in their previous incarnation. This is like the anniversary release with new art and stuff. I used to own them, and then I sold them because I didn't really like them that much. I really love the anime, and I felt bad not owning the manga because I'm a diehard Sailor Moon anime fan, so I'm like, well, I guess I'll get the manga now that it's been re-released, but I still haven't gotten around to rereading it yet. Like, this is volume 4, and this is basically where I stopped. But yeah, like, I love Sailor Moon, I love the characters, but the manga just doesn't really do it for me. Maybe someday I'll finish reading that again. And now we're into my flower comics section. This is Alice 19th by Watase Yu. It's another series that I was actually trying to get rid of at one point because I don't think it's that good. It's like not her best work. It's good enough. It's kind of cute. It's sort of like modern fantasy. I mean, the artwork's really nice because it's Watase Yu, but it just never really hit with me very well. So if anybody wants it, Epitrance Mai, another Watase Yu series. It's a cute little 2 tankobon series, and it's very similar to Hime-chan's Ribbon. It's about a girl who finds a way to transform into different people, and hijinks ensue. The cool thing about this is this guy, I forget his name, but the love interest, he's a huge anime otaku, so it's really cute. Musubiya Nanako, another short stories by Watase Yu. Oishi Study by Watase Yu. This is really, really cute. It's a 1 tankobon long story, and it's about a nerd girl and the bad boy. It's kind of that cliche, but she does it really well, and it's really cute. Otenami Haiken and other short stories by Watase Yu. Mint to Kiss Me and other short stories by Watase Yu. This is like her earlier stuff. And then here we have Ayashi no Seres. Probably my favorite Watase Yu series. It's a toss-up between this and Fushigi Yugi, but I think all in all things considered, Ayashi no Seres I think is stronger. And it's just like, I feel like Fushigi Yugi got a little long-winded, but Ayashi no Seres only slightly long-winded. Really cool series. Look up the anime, Sarah's Celestial Legend. It's a pretty good anime adaptation, though they kind of rush and smush things together the second half of the series. But it's basically about Aya, who has ancient Tenyo blood in her. Her ancestor was a Tenyo, which is like a celestial nymph, a celestial Japanese nymph. And she keeps getting reincarnated through 16-year-old girls in that family line to get revenge. And any girl who's born with her reincarnation is promptly murdered by the family, but Aya escapes. This tall, dark, mysterious man named Toya rescues her, and then there's this strange connection between them and a lot of mystery, and it's just really cool. Cool cast of characters, cool story, a lot of cool themes. Like, this works on so many different levels, which is why I think it's her best work. Atare Jipangu, I cosplayed as Yusura one year and met Watase Yu dressed as her. Actually, which one? I think it's volume 1. Yeah, I got her autograph at Anime Expo 2000. In volume 1 of Appare Jipangu, I dressed as Yusura. But yeah, it's sort of a spoof of Edo Japan. It's pretty funny. That's really all I can say about it. It's a good series. Shishunki Miman Kotowari, look how 80s. This is Watasei's earliest serial series where it's like, it spans more than one volume of manga. It's kind of about a bad girl, Asuka, and a kind of a bad boy as well, but they're sort of related. You know, it's like long-lost half-sister comes to live with brother, and of course they fall in love with each other. It's cute and funny. And if you really like Watasei, I'd check it out. Here we have Shigeyugi Genbu Kaiden, which is the prequel series of Shigeyugi. This is really well done, and it's a testament to how good a manga series can be if a manga artist is given creative freedom over her own work. She made this pretty much independently of the magazine, so she didn't have as many deadline restrictions and content restrictions and things. I remember hearing in one interview once that she had wanted to make Fushigi-Yugi, the original series, more political, but the magazine was like, no, that won't fly. We're a cutesy girl magazine. But this one wound up being a little darker and more political, which is cool if you're into that. I love the artwork here. I mean, it's just her good artwork. And characters are great. Story's great. Nice plot twist at the end. So yeah, highly recommend if you have not checked that out. However, you should not check it out until you have first read the original Shigeyugi. This was basically my gateway anime that got me into anime at large. It started with Sailor Moon, and then I saw a wall scroll of Shigeyugi, not manga, but anime wall scroll. And I saw, wow, these guys are really cute. And so one of my friends bought the wall scroll, even though we had no idea what the anime was about. And then soon after, we found some videotapes at our local Japanese video rental store. And then we were hooked. And then onto that, I just became a huge anime otaku. So I have Shigeyugi to thank for that. Great series about a girl named Miyaka and her friend Yui, who gets sucked into an ancient Chinese book called Universe of the Four Gods. And they each become sort of the main character of that book, where they each have to gather 7 celestial warriors and summon a deity. The two girls wind up becoming enemies because of this. And there's a lot of really cool themes in this. It gets a little too shoujo manga-ish for my taste, like a little too romancy, a little too emo-y. And in the second half of the series, which focuses on Tenko as an enemy instead of Nakago, it's just not as good in my book. But yeah, like the second half of the series, these ones just meh. I could do without that. More Genbu Kaiden, which is out of sequence. Milk Crown, a short little series by Mizuto Aqua for Flower Comics. I happened to be in Japan when the first episode of this serial came out in the magazine, Shokomi, which I bought for Ayashi no Seres because it was currently being serialized there. And I wanted to be the first kid on the block to see the new episode. But this looked interesting. I kind of liked her art style, so I read it and I liked it, and I got the series. And I got pretty much everything that she wrote. These are like her earlier stuff. I decided I was her fan for a while, and I like write her letters, and I even sent her a fan manga that I drew that was like self-inclusion. And don't worry, I totally made fun of myself in the self-inclusion thing, but I hope she didn't think I was too creepy. Anyway, fun. And now we have finally reached the shonen manga section of my bookcase. Most of my manga is shoujo. In my defense, I amassed most of this during my year in Japan when my Japanese wasn't that great, and shoujo manga is just so much easier to understand and read than shonen. But GTO was an anime series when I was there, so I was super, super into it. And then I got into the manga series, which is definitely better than the anime, but mostly just because it goes a little bit more in depth. And it goes a little farther, like they can take more liberties and there's less censorship in the manga. But it's, anyway, it's about Onizuka Eikichi, which is this guy who is, to find him, he's an ex-motorcycle gang member type person, and he becomes a teacher. Here he is. And he's just a very unlikely kind of teacher because he's kind of a bad boy himself, but he really has a knack for connecting with his students, recognizing their bullshit, calling them out on it, and actually changing them one at a time into better people. So it's actually kind of heartwarming and also just really funny. Good series, you should check it out. There's also like live action drama series as well, which I never got into. Mahojin Guru Guru, it's a spoof on RPGs. I translated part of the anime at one point, like 15, 20 years ago, and I thought it was really funny, so I got the manga. Unfortunately, the manga never finishes. It just kind of fizzles out, which is really sad. But he did make a spin-off off of the Kita Kita Oyaji, this really crazy dancing old man character. And I did get this volume, and it's amusing, but I don't really remember much about it. And now we have reached mainstream section with Death Note. Awesome series. If you have not watched the anime or read the manga, definitely do. I think most people watching this probably already know about Death Note. If you don't know about it, watch it. It's on Netflix.
And here we have Mitsudomoe. This is actually an anime series that I really, really liked. And so I checked out the manga. And I only got the first volume because I didn't feel like paying the big bucks for the rest of it. I got it at Kinokuniya in San Francisco. And it's about 3 triplets, girls in 6th grade that are just completely not like each other. Like, they all have very different personalities. It's really, really funny. And this is Arata Kangatari, which is Watase Yu's shonen manga series. I heard after the fact that she had started writing shonen manga, which I was really happy about because that's what she originally wanted to do. But like, as a woman, it's kind of hard to write shonen manga. There have been plenty of crossovers that way, but it, you know, still unusual. But yeah, I like this series. I saw the anime on Crunchyroll a while ago, and I felt like it was a good story, cool characters, but very, very rushed, and so I thought that I'd like the manga better. And I got the first volume. Again, I didn't feel like shelling out the big bucks to buy like everything that existed. So I only have 1 volume of this so far. I might collect the rest of it later, but I'm not entirely sure.
2 Fushigi Yugi novels. I used to own all the Fushigi Yugi novels and Ayashino Nosuda's novels, and I translated most of them too, or summarized them, but not really interested in them anymore, so I sold most of them. And then for some reason, out of sequence, we have Fruits Basket, which is another very popular, very well-known series. Definitely check out the manga. It's better than the anime. The anime is good too. It just like kind of fizzles out and cuts off at the end because it's too short. But a great character study, great relationship study. So that was my somewhat gargantuan manga collection. I used to read manga like all the time, and I honestly haven't picked up a volume in like 3 years now, but maybe I will reread some of these someday soon. Thanks for watching and listening to my rambles. Until next time.